It's another beautiful sunny day in Asuncion in Paraguay, and today we are heading down to the center of Asuncion, so Calle Palmas area, and we're going to be going to one of the newer bars. It's actually very new. I think it's only a few weeks old at most, called Bar Nacional, and it is, I believe it is a bank that's owned by the bank. I believe it is a restaurant that's owned by the bank Ueno. And I've been hearing a lot about it, especially more so from locals, not so much from expats, but we really want to go check it out, see what it's like. And of course, in true Paraguay fashion, even though it is downtown, they are open from 7 a.m. until 1 a.m. and then I believe 2 p.m. on Fridays and weekends. So they're open very late, but we're gonna head over there in the daytime today and see what it's like, check it out. So let's go. So behind me is Bar Nacional. It is right on Calle Palma. Bueno is right in front of me, the bank, and then on the street, the next block on the corner as well is the Bar Nacional. Again, believe it's owned by Bueno, and then it's right across the street from the Pantheon. So it's actually quite busy. It's maybe like 4 or 5 on a Saturday. There's lots of chairs out front. Take a look and let's go. Before I went to Bar Nacional for dinner, I had to check out the Pantheon, which is literally right across the street. The official name of the building is called Pantheon of the Heroes, and a lot of the war heroes from the Paraguayan War, their cremations are in this building. So if you are downtown, I highly recommend checking out the Pantheon. Next up, I did go into Bar Nacional, but I didn't take any videos. So here are some photos of the downstairs level, and then next I headed to the second floor. So there's actually 2 floors. I did not realize that. There's in here, which you just saw in the previous clip, and then there is an old-fashioned lift because it's definitely a building that's been converted. And so, let's call it, we're gonna take the lift up to see the second floor. I did not realize that it was this big. This is the second floor sitting area of Bar Nacional. It is quite small, but it does get full for lunches. And then this is the view right on the balcony outside of the second floor. You must check out. So there's a balcony area, which is really cute and unexpected. And look at the view, literally right across from the Pantheon. So I highly recommend coming here, actually, Bar Nacional. It is right on Calle Palma, right in the center of everything. This is probably not an area where you're gonna wanna stay for like an Airbnb, a hotel, but a good afternoon, evening out. So we just finished our dining experience at Bar Nacional. The food was really good. I got the quesadilla with vacío meat and it was really good. The service they were really friendly, really nice. It is quite busy, I would say, but we did get a table outside. And the only criticism was there was a lot of flies, like a substantial amount of flies on all of the tables outside. And then the service was a little bit slow, but they were very nice. But I would recommend, it's brand new. I think it's a few days old. As we're driving by, all of the cars are stopping to look at the restaurant. There is security outside where you sit outside just because it's not the safest area. So there were a few security guards, but overall would recommend to come and try. So of course, when we're downtown on Calle Palma, I wanted to include some footage of what it looks like downtown Asuncion. Now, this is the old Asuncion. This isn't where most of the foreigners are going to be staying. Where you can see on the screen now, there are some buildings that are old and abandoned and graffitied. And then right across the street or right beside, you can see some cute areas and some buildings that have been taken better care of over time. Downtown is definitely a little less safe, and you will see more poverty downtown Asuncion than you will in most of the rest of the city. A few days later, it was Sunday afternoon, so of course we headed to the Asuncion Zoo. This was not my first time being here, but every time I come back, I'm very surprised at the plethora of animals that they have at this zoo for Asuncion being such a small country. So in the next few clips, you're going to hear more about the zoo and see various of the interesting animals that they have. So today we came to the botanical garden and the zoo. I've been to the zoo before, and there's actually, for being Asuncion, for being a fairly small city, there are many different animals to see. I have a ton of photos of different animals, not so many videos because there's usually two fences, a fence for the people and then another fence for the animals, but it's really nice to just come back. Of course, it's a Sunday, so it's pretty busy. The admission is 11 million guarani, so around $2. I mean, the currency, the USD and the guarani is fluctuating quite a bit lately. Not a large amount, but often. So it's around just a little bit less than 2 USD. But I highly recommend. We're here with, I believe, the warthogs. I highly recommend coming if you are in Asuncion. It's a really affordable, fun day out. I have not been to the botanical gardens, but that is attached to this. I believe there's no admission for that. And then there is the Natural History Museum. It says online it's closed, so not sure about that, but it's all in the same vicinity. And it's pretty close to the Costanera if you want to do this in the day and then walk over to the Costanera and enjoy the sunset there, have a little bite to eat or drink along the boardwalk, the Costanera. Highly recommend. Here are just a few of the interesting animals that you can see at the zoo. If you're in Asuncion, I highly recommend going to the National Zoo and Botanical Gardens. And then, of course, there's also the National History Museum if it is open. Now, if you're visiting Paraguay, if you're planning to live in Paraguay as an expat like myself, I highly recommend checking out our blog, workwealthandtravel.com. There is a link in the description below. We really dive into details on the blog of what it is like living in Paraguay, what you can expect, what expat life is like, apartment hunting, the currency, food prices, supermarkets. There is so much that detail that we are really putting on the blog. So the link is below if you're interested to see more about what it is like in detail to live in Paraguay. So that wraps it up for our adventure at the zoo today. I would, again, really highly recommend coming. As you can see, there's a lot to see here. I'd say probably like 2 hours you can easily spend here. Maybe 3 if you're going slow. There's some food vendors outside, snacks, chicken, popcorn, all of the things. But you can definitely spend an afternoon here. And I was actually really surprised by the variety of animals they have. They have many tigers, many pumas, one jaguar, I believe, some monkeys. Last time there were cage monkeys. This time I've only seen free monkeys. There's 2 hippos, although only one of them you can see. I'm looking at it right now. There's just a large variety of animals here. So again, a really fun thing to do on the weekend. Just got a churro full of dulce de leche for 3 million guarani.
3 million now, 3,000.
3,000 guarani, not million. We're heading out. It's 8 o'clock at night. We're going to Superseis, taking out the garbage, and I like to do late Superseis or like grocery store runs because I just get so busy and overwhelmed in the day. Today I had a paddle lesson and I did not film that, but I have it usually once a week and it is really fun. So now we're going to Superseis, and actually the national game for Paraguay is tonight. I think they're playing Colombia to get into the World Cup. So we're not going to go watch it, but we're just going to walk past a gas station where they have a lot of TVs and drink beers. And so we are going to take a look there. But first we're heading to Superseis, going to get some steak. So it is evening. We are walking to Superseis and it was rainy today. It is the end of March actually. So we are almost getting to a slightly cooler season, which I'm so looking forward to. I do not enjoy the summer Paraguayan heat. If you've heard any of the podcast episodes or checked out the blog, which is workwealthandtravel.com, I have a whole blog post talking about just how hot it gets, easily like 40 plus degrees Celsius in Paraguay. I know it's pretty hard to see in the summer, and it's just so extreme. You don't want to leave your house. You don't want to, oh, there was some lightning. You don't want to do anything. So it's finally getting a little bit cooler, which I'm loving. And the rain today was actually really nice, but of course with the rain, it's really humid. But now it's 8 o'clock at night. So we're heading to Superseis and it is cooler. It's in the 20s, which we love. One thing I did want to address, I posted a reel and a TikTok about it, and people had a lot to say, was about safety at night. I was just like a 20-second TikTok of me walking in this area in Villa Morra where we live at night. And of course, it is not the safest. It was like 9 o'clock at night. There are streetlights on this is a main road. Some of the side roads there are not streetlights. But I felt pretty safe. I was like coming back from somewhere, listening to a podcast. There was nobody on the street, no bikes. Comparing that to where I'm from in Canada, especially now, oh, we're in a tree shadow. Okay, stepping in a puddle. So I can't see anything, but there's a light up here. And so I feel so much safer. Obviously not in every area. There's some areas in the daytime I'm walking in Asuncion and I then don't feel safe and would never have anything in my ears listening to music or a podcast. But in this area, I do feel pretty safe. It's very residential, as you can see. And so that's what I really like about living in Villa Morra, Recoleta, this area. I'm usually like 9 o'clock is the latest I would be out walking at night, but I do feel pretty safe and definitely safer than I do in almost every city in Canada at 9 o'clock at night. And now we are coming up just like a 5-minute walk from our place, actually less, which is really nice, to Shopping Mariscal. And here we are. It's a bit noisy, but I love living by this mall. You can see here the kind of like outdoor food area. It's highly recommend if you're planning to rent an apartment or buy in Asuncion. Oh my gosh, I've never seen it so empty on a weeknight. To be fair, it's Tuesday, but it's been raining all day. So that is why it's like this. Even on a Tuesday, if it weren't raining, there would be at least like a quarter of this full, I would say, maybe like 20%. But yeah, a really nice area. And then there's a nice mall in here. The food court's up here. If you live in this area, it's just really nice to have this nearby. And then, so this, if you've been here, you know, but this is also Shopping Mariscal, as I just turn the corner, as is this. So this bridge here connects these two parts of the mall. And then here, where this Paris ice cream is actually a parking lot. And on Tuesdays, they have, what is it called? Agro shopping. The Instagram is agro shopping. And it's just lots of fruits and vegetables. I get some really good salsas from like a carniceria salsa provider, and they are so good. They're only 25,000. So I just like stock up. But yeah, right here on Tuesdays, I think it starts at like 6 a.m. until 9 or something. It's on their Instagram, the hours. It's only on Tuesdays. The parking lot becomes a market. I would definitely recommend checking it out. And then here's the bridge that I mentioned. I mean, how nice is this area? And then here is the other section that the bridge connected of Shopping Mariscal. Not as much in this side, Block A, but still some nice cafes. And one of the bigger exchange houses here, Cambios Chaco. If you live near the Villa Morra area, I highly recommend going to Shopping Mariscal or surrounding areas in the evenings. Even when it's raining, it is very cute and just a nice walk stroll. And then, of course, about 1 or 2 blocks away, there is Superseis, which is the Superseis that we went to this particular evening. I find in the evenings, especially on gloomier days, but in the late evenings, it is quite empty. But of course, if you go after work, as typical, there are many people. The lines are much longer. This is a new orange juice machine. It just fresh squeezes the orange juice. Let me know below if you've ever seen this in any other countries. I've seen like fresh orange juice before, but not a whole apparatus like this. And then here are the prices. So this one is just like a little small one. This is, I guess it is like almost 24,000 guarani. But I don't get this one anymore because you kind of have to drink it like within a few hours, or if it's in the fridge overnight, it doesn't taste as good. But I love this machine. All right, so one thing I love about Superseis is the meat aisle. I mean, it is truly never ending. This is mostly beef, and then you have some chicken and pork here. And not much seafood in this country, I'm sorry. But the beef is really good, really cost effective. So let's take out some prices. As you can see from this clip, there are walls and walls of different kinds of meat in most of the superstays across the country. Now, I find the meat is quite affordable, usually from anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 US dollars. You can get one of these packets in the clip. So very affordable beef. And of course, most of it or all of it is Paraguay local beef. Now, here's a quick look at what you can expect to see in Superseis and some of the pricing of basics of Superseis. I have a video linked below on our main channel if you really want a detailed walkthrough just of Superseis to get an idea of the store and the pricing, and that is linked in the description below. But this is what you can expect from a typical Superseis in the country. Of course, the local markets are going to be a bit less expensive, but Superseis is everywhere and it's convenient. So the supermarket is actually closing soon, so we might just get some good cuts of meat and then have to come back probably tomorrow. Thankfully, it's like less than 10 minutes walk from our place, so not a big deal. And I usually like to go on 1 to 2 walks per day, or like play a couple hours of paddle, just something to keep active. It's hard when it's so hot. But yeah, so I think we're probably going to come back. But I mean, we could go to local markets. Like Mercado Cuatro is like definitely a bit far, but there are some closer markets that we could go to. But it's just really convenient to come here. There's a Biggie literally across the street, but Biggie doesn't really have everything. So this is usually where we end up, and it pretty much has everything. Actually, this section here, the Nutri-Says, is... This is where I got my protein. I don't think they have like the best quality protein out there, but 300,000 guarani. I don't think that's bad. Convert it and let me know in the comments below how that compares to your country. I'm actually curious. I haven't lived in Canada in like 9 years, almost a decade. So 900 grams. Yes, 900 grams. I mean, there's another one. It's like 500. Don't know where the label is. 541,000, different brand and quality, but this is kind of like the foreign product area. And this is just a quick glimpse of some of the things that are in the Nutri-Says section of Superseis and the pricing that you can expect. So more holistic, natural, healthy ingredients and products that you can expect to purchase. And of course, we have some chipa. You will find chipa everywhere. This is not the chipa that I like. I like the fresh. What's the brand? Maria Ana. My favorite. But we have some chipa. All right, we got the goods. Literally, we got like 6 or 7 packets of meat, and that's it. And we are on Mariscal Lopez Road right now. Even at almost 9 o'clock, it's quite busy. And now we are gonna head to not watch the game, but just check out what's happening just at a gas station. Very popular before a game. This was the Copitrol gas station in Villa Morra, and it was packed for the national football game. It was Colombia versus Paraguay, and spoiler alert, it was a tie. We didn't stay for the whole game, but I just had to film this Copi market because it was beautiful. Let me know in the comments below if gas stations and the cafes along with gas stations look as beautiful and stunning as this gas station did. It looked like a cafe in and of itself. So here's a glimpse at what you can expect inside. They have a variety of sandwiches, omelets, pastries. We got a great orange juice, coffees, teas, essentially anything you can want inside. And like I said, it was a full house this evening because a lot of people were in there watching the game. Now, this is really interesting. Depending on who you bank with, you can get up to 40% off depending on your level with that bank. off of your purchase. So that's also available in a lot of the major supermarkets like Superseis as well. So it has stopped raining. It's maybe 9:30. The game is still ongoing, but it was to Colombia and it just started. So it's not looking great for Paraguay. And I just love this area. It's so beautiful at night. Let's see. I just love walking shopping Mariscal at night. I hope you enjoyed this vlog of what a few days in my life looks like in Paraguay. If you're interested in seeing more of these vlogs, let me know below so I know to keep on making videos like this of what it's like to live in Paraguay, and I'll see you in the next one.